welcome back YouTubers to my channel of an everyday life of an Aspie. If you're following me right now, I'm AspieAnswersAll, or known as Aspie. I'm all about creating mental health awareness, sharing you my life story and journey with Asperger's syndrome, depression, anxiety and the like, so that you can get to know me as a person behind those masks of these diagnoses, as well as also being a mentor advocate, as well as support for you all for any tips and advice along the way, versus some pearls of wisdom and knowledge and experience along the way that hopefully you can take away with you. For the LBs, I welcome you back basically. Thanks for your support, thanks for being loyal to me. I'm sorry if you feel that I haven't been engaging with you all, regardless of you guys who's on my subscriptions versus who's not on my subscriptions. As you know what's going on, I just humbly apologise in advance. And like I said, I've been trying to binge watch as much as I can over the weekend leading up to my big move, which is coming up this weekend. So bear with me. I will be around, hopefully, behind the scenes, supporting you, watching your channel, giving you hopefully some form of encouragement or some tips or something along the way of what I feel is relevant to you. So in all further ado, guys, before I run out of time, as you know, I'm trying to finish up the learning disability series, which is the dyslexia, before I make the big move, even if it means that I'm going to push for time and actually do what I can for you all. After these series of what I'm hoping to address, these should hopefully be readily available no matter what. So bear with me if I'm not on my channel within another week or two while I'm settling into my new bungalow or home or whatever you want me to call it right now that I can call home. So this one's basically going to be part 10, episode 3, how to identify if your child has dyslexia. This is going to be broken up into 3 parts, step by step, like most of my video series, for you guys to easily follow through and hopefully learn something along the way through these tips and advice, versus just some knowledge that I can think of that is of relevance to you all. So in all further ado, guys, before I run out of time, let's begin this in the first part, which is learning about dyslexia and the importance of diagnosing it on this series of how to identify whether your child has dyslexia or not. As we know, as I've said so many times before, many people, be it the health professionals, be it ourselves, had many differentiations to this definition of dyslexia. Okay, we know that dyslexia can be the most common cause or most common for all reading disorders. However, many parents may notice that the learning disability can be in their preschoolers. Some kids struggle to recognise or create rhymes, to learn the ABCs, or to recognise the combination of letters that makes up their names. Okay, from children that are diagnosed in middle elementary school, or just basically intermediates and beyond, or primary, shall I say, is elementary, primary or beyond, let's get the right wording out here. Parents might describe emotional or behavioural problems as accompanied by this academic failure. If these problems sounds familiar to you, it might be a parent of a child with dyslexia. Although it is an incurable condition that lasts a lifetime, there are ways to help children with dyslexia to learn to overcome the challenges of what dyslexia brings and go on to have highly successful lives. As I said before, though, basically in this, that there's different subtypes of dyslexia, and it's a matter of managing and treating it in a way that we can best do it, and hopefully that in that form of way, like anything, is creating a balance, being able to be patient and all the like with people with special needs, or just people in general that are different regardless what it may be. So part 1, or shall we say episode 3, learning about dyslexia and the importance of diagnosing it. Number 1 for the tips and advice, as well as basically what's it all about, is number 1, what's your child struggling to complete reading examples? For example here, one set of parents realised their son or daughter had a reading problem when it was unable to complete a short kindergarten homework to read or write a list of rhyming words to his parents, following the instructions provided by the teacher. Basically, okay, here's an example how the exercise went for that child. Okay, the parent, all the words on this line rhyme with at. Say at, child, at, parent. The first word on the list is bat. Bat rhymes with at. Say at bat. Child, at bat. Parent moving finger to touch each word. What's next? At bat, touching cat. Child, cop. Parent, no. Needs to rhyme. At bat, child, cake. Parent getting frustrated. You need to focus. At bat, cat. Sound it out. C-A-T. Child, C-A-T. Parent. Now what comes next? cat, bat, child, friend. Needless to say, they never made it to hat, mat, pat, rat, sat, or that. Okay, gotta remember, as I said before, so many times before, about how the kids differentiate words and how they hear it out with the way they, process it in their mind. Number 2, learn how the dyslexic brain works. While the classic association with dyslexia is one of a person who sees letters and numbers backwards, what's really happening is more intense and has to do with how the brain works. A child with dyslexia struggles with phonological decoding, which is a process of taking part and putting together words by chopping them into the individual sounds while connecting these sounds to the letters that represent them. Because of the way their brain translate letters and sounds back and forth, children with dyslexia tend to read slower, less fluent, and make more mistakes and less accurate. For example, a little boy reading a book sees the word dog, but doesn't recognise it on sight. He tries to sound it out, which is taking it apart and translating the letters into their sounds. Dog equals D-O-G. Meanwhile, a little girl, however, is writing a story, wants to spell the word dog. She says the word slowly, then to translate the sounds into letters. D-O-G equals dog. If these children have no reading disabilities, chances are good that both will be successful. If they have dyslexia, the translation process from sounds to letters or letter to sounds doesn't go well, and a dog may become the word God. Number 3, understand that dyslexia isn't a problem of intelligence or effort. This is a huge no-no from some people's perspective. Sadly, many people think children with dyslexia will fail to read because they aren't as intelligent or don't try hard enough. And again, as I said so many times before, that they're labelled lazy, troublemakers in class, that they'll cause disruptions enough, But science tests comparing the brain patterns report that these problems happen the same whether children have high IQs or low IQs. Dyslexia isn't a sign of low intelligence, however, or not putting into the effort. It's just simply a matter of difference in how the brain operates and functions. Number 4, learn how psychologists diagnose dyslexia. Psychologists use the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders to diagnose psychological disorders. This manual describes dyslexia as a neurodevelopmental disorder in which a person has a coding difficulty. The person struggles with figuring out what the relationship between the word and spellings and pronunciations. Dyslexic people have a problem matching written letters to their sounds, a phonological awareness issue. In short, dyslexia is a reading disorder that can't be explained by low IQs, lack of education, or problems with eyesight. It has nothing to do with it, however, of how smart they are or whether they are trying hard enough. Number 5, understand who is most likely to have dyslexia. New studies have shown that dyslexia is a genetic condition that can be inherited. If it runs in the family, a child has a high risk of developing dyslexia. If the child has other language-related issues like delayed language, the risk of dyslexia increases. Dyslexia usually develops in young children, but could also develop if the brain was injured. Dyslexia is actually pretty common. Statistics has shown that 10% of school children have been identified with dyslexia, but it is believed that another 10% remain undiagnosed. Boys and girls appear to develop dyslexia at equal rates, while a high ratio of left-handed people are also identified as dyslexic. Number 6, realize the importance of diagnosing dyslexia. If not caught at a young age, untreated dyslexia can cause serious consequences. Many dyslexics become juvenile offenders, high school dropouts, functionally illiterate adults, or college dropouts. Fortunately, the people are getting better at spotting and diagnosing dyslexia really early and actually being able to treat. And what did I do? Well, that ends basically part 10, episode 3 of basically how to identify dyslexia. Give me the like for thumbs up for support, for engagement. Feel free to comment below if I missed anything. Feel free to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, AspieAnswersAll. Feel free to subscribe to my channel on the daily because I'm hoping to basically get up and running soon. Also, feel free to share my videos to family and friends. So, enough for the day. Thanks for watching, thanks for support, and I'll see you all again soon.